What did Africans believe in before Christianity? The way of the feather. The lie you were taught. You grew up hearing one story about African spirituality: pagan worship, ancestor worship, superstition, savage rituals from people who didn't understand the world. That story was written by people who wanted to justify conquest. It isn't true. If this is resonating with you, please like and subscribe. More people need to hear this. We are building a community of people reclaiming this knowledge. What was actually there? Your ancestors didn't worship spirits. They understood and organized reality using precise systems. They built civilizations that lasted thousands of years. They invented mathematics, architecture, medicine, and philosophy, all of it rooted in one core understanding: balance and order. They called it Maat. Why this matters right now. Here's what's important. You're using this system right now, today, without knowing it. Every time you make a decision and ask, is this right or? That's Maat. Your body knows balance. Your ancestors taught your body well. Every time you balance your work and your rest. Every time you choose the people who make you feel like you belong. You're living Maat. The question is, will you keep doing it blind, or will you claim it deliberately? The three principles your ancestors taught. Principle 1, Maat truth, order, balance. Maat is often translated as truth or justice, but it's more precise than that. Maat is the principle of order, balance, right sizing. It's the force that keeps chaos at bay. In ancient Kemet, they believed the universe is organized according to law, not whim. Everything has a right place, a right time, a right measure. Your job is to find your place within that order and maintain it. This wasn't mystical. It was how they understood reality. The earth has laws. Society has laws. You have laws. When you live in alignment with those laws, you thrive. When you resist them, you break. This is what your ancestors taught, and they tested it. For thousands of years, it worked. Principle 2, Heka, Awa. Energy, frequency, vibration. Your ancestors also used the word Heka. Westerners translated this as magic. That's a mistake that's stuck for centuries. Heka is better understood as energy, frequency, vibration. The understanding that everything in the universe vibrates at a certain frequency, and that you can align yourself with those frequencies. They didn't have the word quantum or vibration, but they understood the principle. When you speak something into existence, you're working with Heka. When you show up to a space and change the energy in the room, you're working with Heka. When you choose your thoughts and change your life as a result, you're working with Heka. Your ancestors knew this, and they taught it not as superstition, but as science, the kind of science that doesn't need a lab. It needs presence. Principle 3, Ubuntu Oru. I am because we are. The third principle your ancestors taught is Ubuntu. You've heard the word maybe. You might think it's just a nice idea. I am because we are. But Ubuntu was never sentiment. It was survival. It was strategy. It was the understanding that you are not separate from your community. You are part of it. Your survival is tied to the community's survival. Your gifts are meant for the community, not just for you. The community's strength becomes your strength. This is why African civilizations survived droughts, invasions, and centuries of disruption. They understood that you don't survive alone. You survive together. Look at every African descended community that's thrived despite impossible odds. That's Ubuntu in action, the knowledge that we belong to each other. Your ancestors taught this through story, ritual, and everyday life, not as philosophy, as the operating system of survival. And you inherited it. You're already living this. Here's what you need to know. You don't have to study Kemet for years to access these principles. You're already using them. When you make a decision and it feels right, that's Maat. Your body knows balance. Your ancestors taught your body well. When you speak something into existence, that's Heka. When you set an intention and watch the universe align, that's Heka. You don't need to name it to use it. When you call your family for support, that's Ubuntu. When you know you can't do it alone and you ask for help, that's Ubuntu. When you show up for someone else, even when it costs you, that's Ubuntu. You inherited these practices. They live in your body, in your decisions, in your relationships. The question isn't, how do I learn this? The question is, how do I claim it deliberately? Your ancestors' gift. Your ancestors didn't just leave you stories. They left you a system for making decisions, a system for understanding energy, a system for belonging to something larger than yourself. They encoded it in temples that still stand. They encoded it in principles that still work. They encoded it in your body, your instincts, your knowing. You don't have to be Egyptian or practice any specific ritual. You don't have to wear anything or join anything. You just have to recognize what your ancestors gave you and use it. The feather test. If you want to start using these principles deliberately, we built the feather test. 4 questions, 2 minutes. It shows you what you're carrying that isn't yours. You might recognize yourself immediately, or you might discover you're living Maat better than you thought. Either way, you'll know what to work with. Go to maatfeather.com and take the test. It's free. It's yours. What comes next? But here's what's bigger than Maat, Heka, or Ubuntu. Your ancestors didn't just leave you a system. They left you their DNA and their names and their faces and stories you don't know yet. Right now, your DNA is connected to people you've never met, people who carry your gifts, your intelligence, your strength. The next video shows you how to find them, because knowing the principles your ancestors taught is powerful. But knowing the people who taught them, that changes everything. I'll see you there.